Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast. Sparky Coach Pod. Crowy here with Cam, talking about a morbid subject for some. We're talking about does your partner get involved in the admin or not? And there really is no right or wrong answer. I've seen absolute God forbidden train wrecks happen, and I've seen absolutely blessing to the, let's just say I actually did this session so I can send it to people when they're considering getting their partner involved. So it's a huge topic, one that needs to be handled with care and treated with caution. And a couple of things come to mind for first up when you're considering getting your partner in. It might not be for you, but it might be. So
do you love them?
Yeah. And it's got okay. Here's a couple of initial boundaries coming out. Like when you see someone go, or they'll come on because we've just had a kid and they'll have gaps within the schedule. So I've got 2 kids. I am by no means a child expert, but one of our kids sleeps beautifully, one sleeps terribly. So if Elodie was trying to do admin items with our firstborn Phoenix, when he slept literally 37 minutes at a time, you had to cuddle him through any transition. He needed a lot of additional help to get to sleep, and still does, to be honest. So that would have been no bueno. Like, absolutely forget about it. We were
the
out
other
in our
child
feet.
falls asleep standing up.
Yeah. Other child would fall asleep upside down on a roller coaster. Like, that's just what he does. I actually went to the monster trucks on the weekend in the Gold Coast. Shout out to the Monster Jam. And there was this child sleeping 3 rows down with no headphones or earmuffs, just asleep. And I'm like, this is the loudest thing I've done since hammer drilling in a closed room in Tamarama in 2001, 2002.
So loud, hey.
So loud. You know when it used to be, I want to highlight side subject. Safety's super cool. I was so fortunate to have a tradie. I remember at the start, like, I won't wear earmuffs, you're 18 thinking you're invincible. And the tradie I had was, started to have the tinnitus, is that what it's called? The ringing in the ear. And he was like, no, always wear earmuffs. It's so important because I've got this and you don't want that. So he would always just put earmuffs on me all the time. And it ended up being so good because, then I could go to Monster Jam and just enjoy the weekend. But no, safety's super cool. Like, make it cool. Everyone has a right to hear at 50, and don't be drilling through any asbestos. Like, I remember thinking, thinking when I was like, you think asbestos eaves and stuff like that when you're 18, 19, like 20 years is ages away. And, it's not. Like, 20 years, that's the time for me now. I'm here now. And you're like 2 young kids, and you really just want to make sure you're safe. Anyway, we're talking about partner admin. So a couple of things come to mind is it has to be considered that it's okay for it to work. It's okay for it not to work. It doesn't have to work. I would encourage a trial 3 to 6 months, 1 to 3 months. And if it doesn't work, smile, laugh, have a glass of wine, have a kombucha, and get on with your life. So that's really important. Secondly, it has to be considered a job. It has a job with clear parameters and clear descriptions, and there can't be any personal crossover. Now, every employee is entitled to a personal day. I get it. But when it's different when you're emotionally involved, So if Elodie could come to me and be like, I didn't get that work, I didn't get the invoicing done because, Phoenix didn't sleep. There's an emotional part of me that's like, I get that. He's our boy. Look after him. There's the other part going like, well, okay, now I've got to do it. And I think there's just got to be clear KPIs and clear indicators, a task list, and it's got to be completed. And if it's not completed consistently over time, then you need to step back. Another thing to consider, thirdly, you might even say, is it their skill set? Because a lot of people, admins, it's a unique item. Like, it's not for everybody. And especially that back end, mundane, monotonous. If you've got a super creative partner, or if you've got a partner that could earn more elsewhere, should be considered. Like
Mm.
I think that should be considered. So is it their skill set? Is it within their wheelhouse? Do they want it to be within their wheelhouse? Does this fill their cup? You know, the other thing to consider is what's the opportunity cost. So fourthly, opportunity cost. Could they earn more elsewhere? I just kind of said that then. But like, you know, what could they go somewhere else where they're actually happier? It's filling their cup. And the fifth thing to consider, what's the emotional boundaries here? Does your partner have the capacity to see you owed lots of money, to see you going through something? Not saying you're not going to share that openly, but if you've got a really stressed out partner and they're going, you're owed 30 grand, you're like, yeah, that's just, it's normal to be owed 3 to 4 weeks of, you know, of your sort of weekly revenue. That's well within market realm. Or like, we're paying this guy too much money. He just made that mistake. You need it back. Like if you've got a, how do I say this? Emotional partner that can be irrational, you know, hypothetically could be irrational. Not saying it's you if you're listening, but just hypothetically go with me here for a second. That could be blown with the wind. You gotta watch that. And also, like, you know, what are the boundaries? Because you can't just be at home putting the kids down, or if you've got no kids, talking. You can't be working till 10 o'clock at night and every night consistently for a long time, and you can't be having these like morbid conversations about like, oh, did you hear about what happened today? Oh, this sucks. Oh, that client sucks. Like when you're consistently bringing negative items home, there's got to be a boundary there. Sometimes partnerships work really good when there's a clear separation of profession. So, oh, how was your day? Yeah, it's good. How was your day? Oh, yeah, it's good. So, and in saying that,
because Jimmy did this.
Yeah, but just items to be fleshed out and considered. But my best advice is just from the outset, it doesn't have to work. I've seen it work so incredibly well. When you get someone that's your partner, that a partner in life, partner in crime, someone that cares about the money as much as you, cares about the business as much as you, someone as heavily invested as you, someone that cares about the people in the business as much as you, someone that cares about the clients in the business as much as you. When you get that, like, I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, it's just got to be, everything's got to be considered. And sometimes, a lot of the times I see people, you go, oh yeah, my partner does this or that, and I'm like, are they actually any good at that though? Like if your partner's doing social media and they're, I think social media, what I will say, there's no substitute for authenticity on social media. When the business owner's running the socials, you can tell. When some admin's putting things through Chat GPT and it's just punching out generic content, like that's not as enticing. I don't think you're not getting that authenticity or that community buy-in, which arguably, what do you want from, say, Instagram or social media? You want to attract staff members, you want to retain staff members because they're part of like a tribe, a community, and you also want to highlight your works to your clients. So there's a whole bunch of parameters in there. You want to sort of showcase. It's almost like the modern day website. So if someone's controlling that, sometimes I see people post stuff and I'm like, your partner posted that, or it's a photo of some work that sucks, that like actually looks illegal or something like that, or like a photo of something that, or a blurb. I'm like, as a business owner, it wouldn't actually take you that long to write that blurb. Like you can tell that's been scripted by someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, and just reference the buy-in that say 40 from New Age gets, you know, Jaden from Rewired, Willman from Willman Electrical, Heath from H Spark, Barney from First Choice. Like you look at these guys and girls, and I'm not saying they don't have other people in there, but they're obviously heavily dictating terms on, hey, this is what we want to sort of see at this point. Tommy from Rylec, he's huge, like face to camera stuff. Here it is. So I just think like, are they a good fit for that role? Is there a better use of their time elsewhere? So lots to consider. But I think I'll wrap up with this before I hand over to you, because I know you've had firsthand sort of experience with Raquel in the business, and I don't want this to be like a partner, like every partner sucks. It's not like that. Like it's just, you just got to be confronted. Is it the best use of everyone's time? But I would just say this: if it's not working right now, then either something needs to change or it needs to stop. It's pretty much that simple. If something's not, and you can reference that to profit, you can reference that to with a client, you can reference that to staff members. If it's not working, you got two options. You either confront it and make it better, or on a pathway to getting better, or you stop. And I think having that conversation should be quite easy. If you're unable to have a hard conversation with your partner, I'd actually really question that. I'd be like, well, why not? Like, how are you going to go through life unable to have a difficult or hard conversation with your partner? So that's going to be really tough, really, really tough. So yeah, I would just encourage you, check in the first month, second month, third month, or even if you've been going for a year and it's not working, reach out to us. I've got a form that you'll send each other, like you both fill out. How's it going for you? How's it going for me? It's almost like a counseling session, really a therapy session. Although we're untrained, uneducated, but we'll charge you, but no, we'll just give you the form. But I think it's just got to be, if it's not working, just got to be, all right, well, what are the roles? And when is it getting done? Because set the times too, otherwise they can just float into the wilderness, into the abyss. So here's what it should take, and then just confront if it's working or not in an open, honest way. And I think there, as much as you're a partnership, say on the home front, the family front, there's got to be an element of clear, like, hey, this is a job. And you have an there's KPIs and it's got to be an outcome. Just like for me, this is a job and I've got clear KPIs and outcomes. So yeah, I've hopefully got a few things off my chest there, and hopefully that helps you. But Cam, thoughts, concerns, cares, wisdom?
Yeah, no. So I'll probably echo a couple of things that you touched on there. Is that might be for you, might not be for you, right? So it's going to go either way. Really want to emphasize time frame. So time frame to give it a go, but then maybe equally also just a time frame of like the shelf life of it, because it could be that it's like, hey, we're going to grind it together to get these outcomes that we're looking for, and then you're out.
Grind
basically.
on your own time. You know what I mean? Like,
in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
So there's time frames to be considered. Skill set, really, really important. Just as much as you probably don't like doing certain things, your partner will not like doing certain things, and they will have a skill set and they will have passions and all those sorts of bits and pieces within their own potentially career, or just like what they like to do in that sense. So that definitely needs to be considered. It's not for everyone. And then the other thing is, I think you really want to look at here is like, okay, what are they currently doing? Is it detrimental or beneficial to their particular career? And I think that really does need to be considered. Is it detrimental or beneficial to the business in a short-term and long-term sense? So what are we trying to look at here? And then the other one, is it going to be beneficial or be detrimental to the personal relationship between you two, whether you're married, engaged, partners, lovers, a bit of everything in between, casually, just every now and then, whatever it is, it's up to you. I think all these things need to be considered because it could be short term, it could be long term, it might not be it, it might be it. I'm just going to say, for what I've seen and the way it works, is that I would say, in the majority of, I'm not saying like every single one, in the majority of cases, it's not the best fit. And I could rattle off a million reasons why. But generally speaking, it's not the best fit. In saying that, I've seen a lot of short-term, extremely beneficial. On the same page, same motivation, getting the same outcomes. It's just that it's not, because they have the partner brings their own skill set and their own bits and pieces to the table. But long term, I can give an example. Someone I know, they were in the finance space, in accounting, set up heaps of things, really, really awesome, was tight, got it all cranking, and then exited. And was able to train people to take over within that role, and then just operated in a real high external level of, basically educating and being financially literate with their partner to be able to make decisions.
So came in almost like a consultant.
Essentially, yeah, for a couple of years.
And
then help them with like the mundane bits and pieces, which
and sits on the board from now. Yeah,
they hated, but yeah, now sits on it from that sense. And I've seen it also work. And I'll give my sort of situation with Raquel when she came in. It was time of life. Like, it was, we needed to to grind a bit, and she's a very much like get shit done sort of person. Whereas I can sometimes be, particularly if I'm not that interested in something, I'll defer it for a time. I'm like, these things are more important. So like at that time, like operationally, it was more important to make sure that operationally we were occurring. So she helped set up those bits and pieces and get things done in the background. But then from a point of view, we knew there was no longevity in it because it wasn't her passion at all. But also equally too, like we had a family, like that like took up a lot of both of our times, but also took up a fair amount of her time, most importantly, and first and foremost. And it was something that we didn't want to go forward long term. So I think these things all need to be taken into consideration around it. Not to say it is going to work, but I think sometimes it could just be like, all right, what are we doing it for? And sometimes you're doing it to get some quick outcomes or foundational outcomes that you're looking for because you both got skin in the game and you're looking at the best interest of it all to move forward. And then it's like, it's got a shelf life and then, hey, let's move on from it all. And the other thing I think to look at also too is you really need to consider when there's a family involved in it is that, and this is just probably whether it's true or anything, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, is that you don't want it to consume your life because what happens invariably is your whole life revolves around it. Conversations, discussions, the passion gets in, particularly when there's mistakes and or something doesn't go right. And if your partner hasn't been in the industry, something that you're like, oh, that just happens. And then it's like, but it shouldn't happen. And you're like, yeah, but it just does. And you're maybe nonchalant about it a little bit. And it's like, yeah, but how? And then they get really worked up about it all. But like, because you've been in the industry for a long time, it's like, we talked about it in a previous podcast, like the downlight just gets cut out wrong. It just happens sometimes. Like I'm not going to, there's no rhyme or reason around it. Yeah, it's not a great outcome that it occurred. It's A, it's fixable, but B, these things happen where they might work in an industry where mistakes occur, but it's not to that extent of like you can't repair that in a way sort of thing. It's like mistakes occur. It's just like it just gets pushed back down and then fixed up, and then the outcome is fixed up on a spreadsheet, for example, or fixed up on a document or things like that. So I definitely have noticed and found when I've seen it with the partners, they generally take things a lot more to heart and probably a lot more extreme than the business owner does, because there is an element, and whether you agree with me or not, there's an element of like they just happen. It's just part of the industry. Like it was the wrong piece of material was supplied or the wrong piece was ordered, and yeah, you want to minimize it, but sometimes it's not your fault. Like it just literally occurs. It's like you go to the job and it's not sheeted, and you're like, well, the builder told us it was going to be sheeted, and then it's like, oh yeah, it was meant to be, but they didn't turn up on Friday. The plasterers, for example, and so like these things flow down. So just touching on it, look, might be for you, might not be for you. If you're unsure, set a time frame around. So get a period of time with some really clear outcomes that you're looking to achieve. And you might surprise yourself that, hey, you get to a point where it's like, oh, this is a weight off my shoulders. This is amazing. We can now continue on in our trajectory that we're looking to go down. And you, my lovely partner, can enjoy a retirement of sorts.
Yeah. So I just think have the open conversations, have the honest conversations, have the KPIs, set the times and tasks, set the standard, and don't be scared to confront it. And if it's a lot easier having those conversations earlier, but even if you're a year into using it's not working, now is early compared to 6 months time. So early is subjective to where you are at now. So, but I think a couple of things. Well, like you see someone come in, consult and build everything out. It's pretty rare that your partner can come in and do that. Like it's not the high percentage play. Often that's a high performer that will be in another industry at that point. Not saying it doesn't happen, but just be careful when you say, "Oh, we just had a kid and they're going to come in." Well, what's the end goal? You're going to have another kid or another kid after that? Because if you think life's hard with one, have two. And I can't comment past two because I've only got two, but I can imagine there's just, 3 young kids. There's not a whole lot of additional time. And you either sink them off to daycare, no judgment there. You do what's right for you. But what's the end goal here? Is that the goal? Because that's fine if it is. But if the goals are stay-at-home mum or stay-at-home dad, you're gonna want to just talk about it. You just need to talk openly and honestly. And maybe that is the goal. Maybe it is. You know what? I've got a kind of kid that'll thrive over there. Perfect, sweet. And then age of kids needs to be taken into consideration too. As 16-year-olds, much difference to I can only comment on an 8 and 6 and everything under. But yeah, it's just different. So look after yourselves. Have the 1 month, 2 month, 3 month check-in. Even if you're a year in, just get the form off us. Have a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month check-in. Be open, be honest, be accountable, and just run the sickest business ever. That's all. That's all you got to do. And I'm gonna finish with this. If you guys are partners in the business and you both aren't taking market wages, you got to watch that, because if you're just taking profit or drawings, you don't know, like you might both have to be replaced. So you need to factor your both people in, probably let's just say the owner at 100 to 110 grand plus super and the admin at 70 grand plus super for a full time. That's probably pretty typical around there, give or take 10 to 15%. So if you're not paying yourself that, you might have no contact. You might be going well as a business, in inverted commas, laser, Dr. Evil style, only because you're both volunteering into the business. And realistically, your version of wouldn't even cover the two market wages, because is once again subjective. As well 150 grand, as well 250 grand, as well $1 million. So look after yourself out there. Have the hard convo. And to be honest, I'd happily sit with someone on this to help them through it, because it's can be difficult when you're in the trenches yourself. So much love to everyone. Tricky conversations, handled expertly by untrained, I was going to say professionals, but we're not really, by untrained psychologists. I say that term really loosely.
It's been around the game.
Yeah. All right. Look after yourself.
Take care.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.